Coming up on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City after show.
Like, man, I didn't get to see the fight. Everyone likes a good fight. I mean, a real one though, professionals.
She wanted to lay hands on Jen. They would have been like two Hellcats just pummeling each other. I said to her, if you're gonna f me up, let's go. And then she's sobbing 5 minutes later and I'm holding her face in my hand.
Lisa wanted to get in my face. I got in her face. We worked it out. We sat down. I went and got a hot dog with mustard and relish and we're good.
You told me she hired a private investigator to investigate me.
Jennie does try to like backtrack, own what you said.
It makes me really angry because I did not say that. I said she hired a private investigation. I did not say to dig dirt on you.
Had Jennie not said anything, Jen would have never knew. Why would you go back and say something and try to make trouble? Is that what you came in this group for?
I submitted every single one of you to be investigated.
Why are you like so paranoid? Nobody's trying to come take your Facetune membership, honey. You can have that.
They were handed everybody's information. Probably giving yours too, Chris.
I swear to God, if you have anything to do with the bullshit charges against me.
They know I didn't turn Jen in. Everybody knew. It was public information.
It's a very simple question. Yes or no, bitch. Did you do it or not?
She has enough investigations that have gone on. I don't think I need to be the one doing that.
Your Real Housewives of Salt Lake City after show starts now.
So, Mary, you missed another eventful bus ride.
Oh, yeah.
Come on!
Man, I didn't get to see the fight. Like, you know, everyone likes a good fight, you know? No, I mean, a real one though, professionals. Like, does Lisa even know how to punch?
Come on! No.
But does she have a nice laugh? Like, really? Like, okay.
I mean, it's one thing after another with these girls. Like, I can't ever just go and like have a placid ride. Literally, it got to a point where I'm like, if you're gonna f me up, f me up.
I mean, it's one thing when like it gets physical and you're on ground. We were going 80 miles per hour down the freeway in a party bus. It got to the point where a producer was holding back Jen and I was holding back Lisa.
I mean, I got scared when Whitney was holding my arms back because I'm like, I have to be able to defend myself.
She's like, let me go, let me have her. Like, she's like screaming all of this like fight girl terminology.
When Lisa came at me like, what you want to do? I was like,
come on!
What? Oh, hold on a second. Let me take these off. Like, I was like, wait, what?
She wanted to lay hands on Jen. They would have been like two Hellcats just pummeling each other.
My favorite moment though is she packs up her and it goes for the door and we're still going 80 miles per hour down the freeway.
She packed her bag, like, I'm gonna hurl myself out of the car, but I've got my backpack with me, so I'll be fine. It was like those nightmares you have when someone on a plane goes for the emergency exit and like does the lever and pushes the door open. Like that was happening in slow motion. I was literally like flanked against the wall, like, not my fight. Can't believe this is happening.
For me, I was like in the middle of it. I didn't want anyone to get hurt, especially amongst friends, and I didn't think attacking Lisa that way was appropriate. We're all adults. Don't be violent. Don't attack someone. If you can't have a clear, collected conversation, then walk away. Take a moment, take a breather. You know, I understand you're angry, but please don't attack your friend. That's not going to resolve anything. It just make us want to avoid her, and that's not what we want to do.
It was crazy. Like literally I said to her, if you're gonna f me up, let's go. And then she's sobbing 5 minutes later and I'm holding her face in my hand.
When I said to you, worry about Jen, I mean worry about Jen.
And saying, you're going to be okay, it's okay. If you really need to get out this anger, I was joking with her. I'm like, if you need to hit me to feel better, go ahead.
And if you have to kick the shit out of me for you to get that, you can.
Because she was so, like, just emotionally wrecked.
I think everyone's like, oh my God, everything, what just happened? And I'm like, listen, I was like, I don't know. Lisa wanted to get in my face. I got in her face. We worked it out. We sat down. I went and got a hot dog with mustard and relish, and we're good.
And I think a little carbs would do you some good.
I can't. I had a hot dog.
In my family, like, we will go at it, and then it's like, I love you so much. Okay, we're good. Because we just had to like work that out, and we're good.
I just wanted to get off the van. I wanted to go home. I didn't want to be on this trip any longer. I literally was calling my husband, telling him like, hey, you should come meet me because I'm done. I'm like legit done with this. It's too much all the time. And at this point, I'm like, I'm done.
Describe your first day in Zion.
I mean, it started with like this beautiful connection to Mother Earth, peace ceremony, giving thanks for our beautiful earth, and went like, literally, it was like a champagne bottle. The cork popped out and it was like everything was free flowing.
I swear to God, if you have anything to do with the bullshit charges against me, Meredith, you're disgusting. Against you, Jennie. You're disgusting. Get out of my face. You're disgusting. Move out of my face.
We're sitting down at the dinner, and we already know tensions are high because Meredith, she's just like tense, period. So I already knew, like, she sits down and it's like, okay, but you never know what she's mad about because you just don't know. She doesn't talk about it.
I knew Meredith had extreme anxiety before going into the dinner. I kept telling her, like, she's like, I'm having a panic attack. And I think she knew that this was the night things were going to come to a head and be pretty rough for her too, because she did know a lot in Vail.
I hired a private investigator. My son was being threatened.
Oh my
And
gosh.
the investigator told me he thought it was extraordinarily likely that it was coming from Jennie.
And I'm like, how do you even know this stuff? But I did feel like, you know, Meredith's been my friend for 10 years. She's having extreme anxiety. I want to protect her, but I also want to, like, let's get down to this. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's been said. Let's just say it all. Let's just get it all out.
When we got to Zion's and we were sitting down at dinner, that was the first time I saw Meredith after Heather and I had talked.
How did the feds know that you were at Beauty Lab?
And I had kind of like had this aha moment that like, oh my gosh, did Meredith call the feds? And then that's when I walked over to Meredith and I was like, if you had anything to do with the bullshit allegations against me, you are effing disgusting.
If you have anything to do with the bullshit charges against me, Meredith, you're disgusting.
Against you. Get in your space. I'm done.
You're disgusting.
Actually, my favorite moment is Mary's expression as she's like basically under Jen's armpit, you know, which was really funny.
She's like, oh, do you really want to go there? And I was like, absolutely. Yes, I want to go there. For once in your life, Meredith, please go there. Yes.
I felt like I was under such an attack and such an irrational attack. Everyone's questioning me about why I wasn't in the Sprinter van.
Why didn't you come on the bus with us today?
And then it rolls into Jennie spewing all these things that she's spewing as facts at me.
At Vail, the private investigator name came up. If it wasn't about me, why'd you tell me? Because I met with you privately.
Why are these women just coming after me and looking for some trouble? They know I didn't turn Jen in. Everybody knew. It was public information all over the internet that this had gone on for nearly a decade, the investigation. How could I have been responsible? So why would you say that, you know? And why would you twist and turn the facts of something that I had told you into something they were not?
And that's when she wouldn't answer the question. So I felt like it's a very simple question. Yes or no, bitch. Did you do it or not? But again, she doesn't answer. And that's why I was like, you know what? You're the fraud, because she is the fraud.
You're fraudulent for having you live 10 lives. You know exactly what the you're cheating. Exactly.
Jen, who's actually indicted for fraud, calls me fraud. And I'm like, whoa, are you out of your mind?
I'm calling you fraud. Miss Hire a Private Investigator. I don't know why you got to hire a private investigator.
I'm not pointing fingers at you. I'm not calling you a fraud, and you're actually under indictment for it, but you want to call me a fraud? Oh no. Who's calling who a fraud? Love you, baby. Bye.
I don't give a shit. I just want to know, are you trying to hurt my family? Because that is beyond messed up. Don't do that when this is a real thing. This isn't fake or funny or a joke. So just answer the question.
Jen, with all the rumors circling around, you ask Meredith point blank if she hired a private eye to investigate you.
I would like to know, Meredith, why you hired a private investigator to research about me.
You can have whatever issue, but now that I'm dealing with like a real legal issue that really can affect my family and me long term, this is no longer fun and games. This is real. So I want to know what is going on, because you're freaking me out. Like, it doesn't make any damn sense. Why are you so paranoid? And who gives a Nobody's trying to come steal your little, like, take your Facetune membership, honey. You can have that. We're not trying to steal that.
All this info that Jennie's throwing out about the private investigator, that's factually incorrect.
I never hired a private investigator to investigate you. I hired an investigator to investigate why my family was receiving threats. I submitted every single one of you to be investigated, not you.
And let me clarify, I did not hire a private investigator. I hired this cyber investigator that I had just, referred to in regards to the text. What happened was my family received these threatening text messages, as did Heather. They were written in a similar vernacular. Brooks and Heather have a very small pool of people in common that have both of their phone numbers. So when I started talking with the cyber investigator and explained these circumstances, we decided that the best course was to investigate everyone who had Heather and Brooks's phone numbers. Not them personally, not going into like their personal business, but investigate their ties to these text messages and if they thought that they came from one of those, that small group of people. So they were handed everybody's information. They were probably given yours too, Chris. Anyone who I could think of that would have Brooks's and Heather's phone numbers, their contacts were handed over. And including Heather. I mean, I thought there's no way Heather could be this twisted and sick, but let's rule it out. I had never directed anyone to investigate specifically Jen.
What were you ladies thinking when Meredith revealed she hired a cyber investigator to investigate not only Jen, but everyone in the friend group?
I thought, oh dear God, I'm ruined. Just kidding.
I hired an investigator to investigate why my family was receiving threats. I submitted every single one of you to be investigated.
What a waste of money. He's just like, well, she goes to Applebee's, TGI Fridays, and a lot of In-N-Out.
Luckily, most of us live very clean, ordinary lives, but wow, where's the trust?
Hold on. Can we all stop for a minute? Meredith just said she hired a private investigator on everyone at this table.
I submitted every single one of you to be investigated.
And then I'm kind of looking at Lisa like, oh, this is good. Hold on a second. Let me get my popcorn and my orange Fanta soda. Your friend hired a private investigator on you too? Let's go around the table. What'd you find out? So I don't know if Meredith was saying that to not look like such a piece of shit, just doing it to me, or and it was supposed to soften the blow, or if she really hired it on everybody. But according to Meredith, she hired a private investigator on everybody.
At first I thought I'm embarrassed for the investigator, but it's one thing to pursue, horrible messages you're receiving or threats or someone that's coming after your son. But it's to pursue people that you are esteeming to be your friends and are conducting yourself as if they are your friends, because never hire a private investigator, my friends, because I want to know what they don't want me to know. If you're my friend, you tell me what you feel comfortable telling me, and I will be your friend on those terms. Friendship should not be based on our resumes or our background checks. And so I think I felt sad, that I was relegated to the same treatment as someone who had made death threats and been attacking her son,
Girl, what are you worried about? What do you have to protect? Or you're so worried about that you have to hire private investigators?
That's the question. You're only going to get a PI if you want to have dirt on someone to use as leverage, or if you want to shame someone, or if you want to make sure that you can trust someone. And I would hope that no one would need an investigator to tell them those things about me.
At this point, Meredith and Mary have missed 2 bus rides, which leads you ladies to some speculating.
It was like the shock and the cold bucket of water of Jen's arrest was over now, and now we're getting into the nitty-gritty and the details of it, and we're trying to figure out kind of the choreography of why weren't Mary and Meredith there.
Well, she missed the first trip because of her dad's memorial.
Do you think that's true, though? Do you guys think that's the truth?
What was weird was that she was co-hosting the trip with me, and she told me the night before that she wasn't going to be there. So I assumed it was because she had to go to her memorial in Aspen. But then when you called her, you were like, she's in the middle of her memorial.
But wasn't she in Vail?
Yeah, when we got there, she was in Vail.
Everything looked weird and off. Stories were kind of changing. Facts weren't lining up. So it looked very suspicious. Mary wasn't there.
I had to get my own transportation because I had the worst headache. Last night I couldn't even sleep.
Mary told Lisa, see what happens when you mess with my church?
To say all these lies about me and my church, Jen, that's what Jen did, and look where Jen's at. And yeah, she messed with the wrong one.
Like, it's all starting to look like Meredith and Mary knew. Meredith perhaps knew something. I mean, she hired a private investigator. What if the private investigator came across something and Meredith had some sort of suspicion or knew something was going to go down, and she told Mary?
I'm hanging out with Fancy Drew here, and like, I need to get to the bottom of it. Slowly over the course of the last few weeks, people have been revealing horrible, huge things that have been going on in the dark that we never were privy to.
There is a green clutch that I know was here. Her friends were holding it, and it is gone. She's red flagged in the system of Louis Vuitton because she pays in cash. I hired a private investigator when my son was being threatened.
Oh my
And
gosh.
the investigator told me he thought it was extraordinarily likely that it was coming from Jen.
Kind of all of these like low circling conversations. And so it started to be just an weird. Why weren't they there?
These are a bunch of jealous girls that need something to do. Why are they consumed with Meredith and I? What, we needed to all come together? We all needed to be on the bus together. We need to hold hands. They don't like me. And now they're coming up with all these false allegations about Meredith.
We all know why I was not in the van.
Here's the thing. I went to Aspen for a memorial for my father. So I am going to meet you guys in Vail.
Okay. It's just incomprehensible to me that anyone would have thought that I should have flown back from Aspen to Park City to then ride in a van to Vail. Like, I don't get it. What am I missing here? I'm not geographically challenged, so I don't know. I don't know why Mary didn't ride in the van with them. In fact, I didn't know that Mary wasn't with them on the way to Vail until I was already in Vail.
I'm just over buses. I can't ride on a bus for more than 20 minutes. I feel like when I was younger, my grandmother, we had church buses, and we would go to different cities locally around Salt Lake City, or we would drive to our church in Indiana, which is 1,700 miles. So we spend 3 days on a bus. So I have like this, I don't have a really good, taste for buses. And then I'm a petite girl. I don't have a lot of meat. So I'm at some point after like 2 hours, you're sitting on bone and you're just bouncing, and it's like you need a donut, those donut things that help your tailbone. And it's just like, it's just exhausting. So it's like, not a bus.
Jennie, you find yourself caught in the crosshairs with Meredith, Jen, and the details around the private investigator.
I didn't appreciate it. I didn't appreciate false accusation.
I would like to know, Meredith, why you hired a private investigator.
I'm bringing this up because that's what you told me.
At no point did I even make that comment. And to say that something that came from me, it makes me really angry, because I was like, I did not say that.
Jennie tells me Meredith hired a private investigator. It was mentioned at the Vail. You guys all heard it.
Jennie does try to like backtrack, basically not own what she had been saying, like, to me.
I said your name come up. She said you told me. She said it. No, I did not say that. Oh my God. Okay, fine.
She kind of is like trying to backtrack, and that's when I'm like, I got irritated at Jennie. Like,
you told me she hired a private investigator to investigate me. That's what you said.
This is what you said. So own what you said.
So for me, it was Jen was attacking me for somebody else's wrongdoing. I said she hired a private investigation. I did not say to dig dirt on you. Meredith hired a PI on everybody, which she clarified.
I never hired a private investigator to investigate you. I hired an investigator to investigate why my family was receiving threats. I submitted every single one of you to be investigated.
I was really irritated because Jennie had been telling Jen that I had her investigated by a private investigator, which is not the case, nor do I think that I had ever said that.
Jennie, I hired a private investigator when my son was being threatened.
Oh my
And
gosh.
the investigator told me he thought it was extraordinarily likely that it was coming from Jen.
What I'm pretty confident I said was that I hired a cyber specialist to investigate the threats against my family. I did not hire anyone to investigate Jennifer Shah. In fact, I think she has enough investigations that have gone on. I don't think I need to be the one doing that.
Jennie went back and told Jen that Meredith said all these things. Had Jennie not said anything, Jen would have never knew. And Meredith told Jennie that in confidence.
Jennie, I hired a private investigator when this happened.
I got stuck right there. Like my mind didn't go past. Why did you go back and tell Jen this?
I didn't agree with the whole private investigator because to me, it's like you're doing something behind someone's back and it's not cool. I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want that to happen to my friend. If you're going to call me your friend, then be a friend.
Why would you go back and say something and try to make trouble? What is that what you came in this group for? Why are you in the group? Because you keep coming at me.
Don't even start with me, okay?
Okay. Ooh. You keep trying to want to fight me or something, whatever she's doing. And then now you're trying to get Jen and Meredith to fight because she told her what she said. And I just didn't understand it.
So Mary arrives a little behind schedule to the first Zion event.
Is Mary coming?
Yes. I don't know. I don't have time to run to her side of the house.
Okay, what shoes am I wearing while I'm breaking out these shoes? Oh, yes, I am. Ooh.
Can we just go and then send the bus back for Mary? It was a big moment for me, Chris, because I typically don't allow people who I'm not extremely close into my spiritual side, because that's the side I protect. So it was pretty vulnerable of me to share that side of myself. It was not how I wanted it to be.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, is this going on right now?
I don't seek spiritual guidance or spiritual peace through like a array of outlets. I have one way that I find my peace is with my church and with God, and that's how I seek everything. And so I'm just not big on it. It's almost like, you know, getting your hair done and you go to a different hairdresser every single time you get your hair done. You know, it's like I stay loyal to that one person. But I thought it was beautiful. And I mean, it's always beautiful to look at other ways people, you know, find their peace and find their spirituality strength. But I just didn't. If my heart's not in it and I'm not in it, I'm not going to do it.
Mary.
Good. I'm good. I'm good. Thanks.
I'm sorry.
I feel like what you intended, Whitney, really did get accomplished, or at least as accomplished as it could, considering the circumstances we were in and the conflict that was, you know, rife amongst all of us. Like, there's something about nature that when you get away from all of the like distraction and noise of the world and you realize like the magnitude of the earth and of God and of the universe, and you realize your role in it and of all things, it just felt like a moment for healing and a moment for peace. And that was one of my favorite moments, was just to be there with all of you surrounded. Like, I could get emotional again thinking about it. It was so spectacularly beautiful. And this woman was so absolutely void of pretense and attitude and ego. And she just wanted us to feel the power of the land we were on and to feel the power of our connection to each other and to honor that. That is not a moment you get to see a lot amongst a group of women with so much contention.
The spiritual lady, she asked me to be in the group, and I said it's okay if because I wanted to respect her. I didn't want to think I was being disrespectful. But she looked at me and she said, well, you don't have anything that you can hurt any of these girls with. And I started crying because I thought, wow, and I was like, yeah, in all of your faces. Yeah, you thinking all this stuff, and looked at this lady saying that you're coming from a good place. And I thought that was amazing.
The trip to Zion might have started with a huge explosion. But Whitney, you quickly helped the ladies find their inner peace at the Red Earth ceremony.
As you walk the labyrinth, release what doesn't serve you anymore. And then as you come out later, you'll be open to whatever the highest good is the universe wants to provide for you.
I remember getting Jen into her sandals to go Grandma, let's just go, because she had fallen in the pool. She had fought with Lisa. She was under so much immense pressure, but we were like, we have to go to this healing ceremony now. We'd love to give you a Xanax and put you in bed, but instead you have to wear white and you have to look good.
It's an all-white party, and Whitney is taking us to Mother Earth and to connect with Mother Earth or whatever. We were doing some of that, with dirt and rocks, okay?
This is what's great about Jen. She showed up. She totally, fully showed up, and it was a beautiful, amazing ceremony, and I felt like it set the tone for us to commune with the land and the nature we are in and with each other, and to put all of this it wasn't petty, all of these huge, painful, issues aside, and just recognize each other's as, women and mothers and friends and sisters, and bond together as friends.
Feel the gratitude and think about all the things that you do have, and just thank the Mother Earth for these blessings.
I felt like this is the way to kick off this trip. Let's, find our inner peace, our calm, and that would be great. That would set us off on a good start to this trip. I mean, little did I know what I was about to sit down to at dinner.
I swear to God, if you have anything to do with the bullshit charges against me, Meredith, you're disgusting.
Against you,
You're disgusting.
Get out of my face.
You're disgusting.
Move out of my face.
But at the moment, it felt great.